Hey there everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you visited already. I hope you have, because if you did, you would have seen this veggie garden in its beginning stages maybe a month or two ago. Today I want to talk about what it looks like today in about the third week of July I think we're at. Look at the difference. I can't wait to show you. So I'm Fionuala. I live and work and garden in Zone 9B. And today is one of those foggy, overcast days that just makes you so happy to be outside. It just feels good, feels like you got a head start on the day. The plants are happy, the flowers are happy. And I want to tell you what this type of weather is doing for our summer veggies. We'll just walk through and see how everything's responding to this weather. Does it like it? Does it hate it? Yeah, because everybody here in Northern California, everybody dealing with these foggy days and not so hot summer afternoons, we're all dealing with the same kind of thing in our veggie gardens. So I just want to talk about that a little bit so you feel not alone in that your peppers aren't developing, and so that you see what's going on here. So come on, let's go. We're going to start on the outside of the vegetable garden today because this is where I planted the pumpkins. Pumpkins, as you can see, can take up a lot of space. This particular pumpkin plant starts in here in the half wine barrel, and it is going all the way around the corner and up into the fence. It's trying to climb, and it will, and it's going to be spectacular. But as you can see right here, we've already got a really lovely little pumpkin developing. Now, I don't know if you've eaten squash blossoms before. I really love them. What you do is you pick them when they're pretty young and still quite closed like this. Dip them in batter. You can stuff them like you would a pepper and fry them up, and they're so, so delicious. If you know about eating squash blossoms, pumpkin blossoms work just as well. You pick them because, as you know, a pumpkin is part of the squash family. You pick the blossom when it's right like this, and you can stuff them just like you would a pepper with your favorite ingredients. I kind of like ricotta cheese with some, herbs in there mixed up really nicely. And then you dip it in egg, dip it in batter, fry it up. It is so, so tasty. So yeah, you can use pumpkin blossoms, squash blossoms, and look at this particular blossom. This does not have a little pumpkin on the back end of it. So you know this is a male blossom, and it's already fertilized the female one over there. That's where we got that pumpkin from. So I generally use the male blossoms for cooking and eating with. Come with me. There are just so many. This pumpkin is so huge. It's even climbing up over this way. So yeah, we put all our big things like the pumpkins and the squash on the outside, just to give more space for everything we've got going on in the inside of the garden. Here's a beautiful dunja squash, and over here we've got a butternut squash kind of wandering on through. You need a lot of space for most of the squash plants. There are some that are a little bushier, a little shorter, but if you're growing squash, always make sure you give it as much space as you possibly can. You get better production that way, which means more squash, more pumpkins, just more success in general. Check out over here, look at this. This one, look at this. Here we got two tiny baby pumpkins right there. And this plant is taking off and going up. Gardening is magical. It's totally a magical experience. It is so much fun to come out here and check every day to see how big this squash plant has grown since yesterday. What's the pumpkin doing today? What new blossoms have opened up? It just makes the day so great when you start out walking in your garden, whether it's the work garden or the home garden or both. I walked my home garden this morning, and here we are checking out what's going on here. Speaking of what's going on here, right here we've got Scarlet runner beans. Now, I absolutely love this bean for so many reasons. It's an heirloom bean. It's been around forever, but it's got these gorgeous red flowers that the hummingbirds love. And making hummingbirds happy is another one of those joys of gardening. You know, there's nothing quite like watching the little hummingbirds having a fight or getting all territorial about this particular scarlet runner bean plant. Just, you know, makes you feel like a kid. Look at how it's grown and developed, and look at this tomato. This is Snow White. Do you remember when we planted it? When was that even? Not that long ago. Look how it's grown. We're training it up and over this little arbor here, and it's just doing great. I've already harvested a few tomatoes, and there are so much production going on. It's absolutely fantastic. And look at the sunflowers. These guys are a little bit lower and slower, but that's the thing. Every single tomato plant has a different growth habit. I mean, the cherry tomatoes all tend to get tall. They all tend to do a certain thing. They're all indeterminate vining tomatoes. So they all tend to get on the tall side, which is why I'm using them for here. But each one of them does have a different growth habit, and you do get to know your tomatoes after a while. You can even tell them apart just from the leaves. But all cherries do have a lot of little flowers. They all grow their tomatoes in clusters. They're all kind of cherry sized, which is why they're called cherry tomatoes. But you can see the difference between these two plants. And this one too, different leaves again. This is a black cherry tomato down here. And the leaves got a little bit of a touch of purple on them. It's kind of interesting. I really like it. And look at these sunflowers, look at them. So this garden here might look a little crowded. It is, and we do this on purpose. We have really rich soil, we take really good care of it. We're demonstrating what you can do in your own garden, but we're also growing this food for us and to share, and every one of my staff gets to take home some vegetables, and it's really fabulous. If you're coming through here at the end of the day and you know you're going to need some basil for the evening, it's so much fun to pick it to take home. But yeah, look at how everything's grown. Now the one thing I'm noticing isn't growing quite as good as they did last year, and I know it's because of the weather, are the peppers. They're a little bit slow this year. They're still blossoming and blooming, and some of them are developing a pepper or two, but it's definitely slower than last year because we're getting more weather like this. Foggy, cool, absolutely fantastic for all the flowering plants, but for those summer veggies that want the heat and they want those long summer days, we're not getting too many of those. However, things are growing, things are happy, things are really responding. And like I said, we've already harvested a few tomatoes. Here we have a pepper. This is the Maya hot red pepper. It's a really hot pepper. And a lot of the hot peppers really like hot weather. And I literally don't see one single pepper developing on this. So if you're at home anywhere in Sonoma County, Marin County, up here in Northern California where we're getting the fog, do not despair. It's not you, it's not personal, it's the weather. We're just not getting the weather that we got last summer. Last summer was great for peppers. But the tomatoes are happy. The other veggies are happy. Every single year is a little bit different. Don't take it personally. You might finally think you've got it down. You know how to do your vegetable gardening. You know how to grow everything. And then some new bug shows up or the weather changes and you have to roll with it. Make the most of your garden. You're still going to get so many fabulous vegetables from your garden. Just wanted to remind you about these fabulous heirloom beans from Italy, from Liguria, that were given to me by a really great guy called Bob. He gave me these beans so that we could grow them and harvest the seeds and save the seeds and grow more and more so that I could offer them to people here. It's a fabulous bush bean. I even like the color of the flower. It's just like pure white. And we're just beginning to see the pods develop right here. I am so excited about this. Might have got this one a little overcrowded, but just look, it's a great year for beans, obviously. So another plant that really likes hot weather is melon. But this little cutie is developing melons anyway. So obviously, it doesn't mind too much our foggy days and foggy mornings, because look at these little tiny melons developing. We're training this up also just to give, do some vertical gardening and make sure they're not trailing all over the ground, because we do have gophers in here, and a gopher will literally come up out of the ground and eat a squash or a melon from underneath. It's so darn annoying. So we're training it up this little arbor right here. But now I got to show you the corn. Do you remember that corn a couple of weeks back? Well, look at it now. It is one of the most satisfying plants to grow because pretty effortless, a lot of volume, makes you look like a great gardener. Because look how tall this is. It's just gorgeous and lush and happy, but it needs a little more heat too to start developing the ears. I'm not seeing any quite yet. Okay, fingers crossed we get some warm weather. Back to peppers again. This little cutie right here is Jimmy Nardello's sweet Italian friar pepper. It is such a great pepper. Really, really productive, but it's a sweet pepper. Look how many blossoms we see on this pepper plant, and there's even little tiny peppers already. That just goes to show that the sweet peppers and the hot peppers have slightly different growing conditions. Sweet peppers are far more productive in a summer like this one. Here's another member of the whole squash cucurbit family that doesn't seem to mind this foggy weather at all. And these are the cucumbers. Look at these little cute things. This particular variety is called Cool Customer. And as you can see, we've already got 2 little cucumbers starting. Again, we're doing the vertical gardening so we can get more veggies into a smaller space. And all these little tendrils are wrapping really nicely, but we do help it along too so they don't wander off too far. So the tomatoes don't seem to mind the weather at all either. This one is Ananas Noir. It's going to develop into a really nice, big, beefy beefsteak tomato that is a gorgeous color, just spectacular. And seriously doesn't mind the weather at all. I can see at least 8 or 9 tomatoes right now without looking too hard. This one too, this is Oaxacan Jewel. You can see the different growth habits. This one's a little rangier. We've got him trained up on obelisks and cones to keep them contained, but you can see they would like to just take off and get going. Really, really productive. Does not mind this weather at all. Eggplants really would like the weather to be warmer, but in the meantime, we just get to enjoy their beauty. You can tell different types of eggplants apart just by the look of them, just like you can with tomatoes. This is obviously a white eggplant. The leaves are a little greener, the flowers are paler. This one over here is probably a stripy one. Over here, I can see a flower opening up. I mean, they're really, really beautiful plants, but let's keep our fingers crossed that the weather warms up and we actually get some eggplants from them, because eggplant parmigiana is one of my favorite things, and I am counting on these guys. So we have a lot of flowers in our vegetable gardens, partly for pollinators, bring those pollinators in to pollinate everything else that we're trying to get our veggies from, but also for their beauty, because they make you smile, and because they're edible. You can eat the seeds of a sunflower, you can eat the petals of a sunflower. You can eat the flowers of the scarlet runner bean. Marigolds, you can even eat marigolds. So they taste a little bit strong for me. And of course we got Johnny Jump Ups over here. So yeah, plant flowers in your veggie garden. Makes you smile, that's always a good thing. Adds to the magic, makes the pollinators happy, gives you extra veggies, and nice little petals to sprinkle on your salads. We're taking a tiny break from the vegetable garden because I wanted to show you what's happening in that sunflower patch we planted up a couple of months back. Some of the sunflowers have begun to bloom, and they're not too organized about what direction they're blooming in. Some of them are blooming at 4 feet when they're really supposed to be 6 feet. But man, don't they make you happy? Look at this. Absolutely love them. And there's still a lot more growing to do, and there's still a lot more blooming to do. Before I leave, I've got to tell you about why we did this. This here is Verbina Bonaria, and if you've been down to our pollinator garden, you know it's one of our favorite plants. This brings the pollinators. The Anna swallowtail butterflies absolutely love it. The honeybees love it. The native bees love it. and it is from Brazil. And it's one of those just fabulous airy plants that give you that pop of color that you really like, contrasts beautifully with sunflowers, again, and brings pollinators. There's a lot to love about this plant. Heading down to the Pollinator Garden to show you what Verbina Bonaria can do after a year or two. Look what I found! We got gophers down here. Look at this. Oh my goodness! Chopped right off. This is insane. Huh. Oh well, let's go look at these verbenas. Here's another one. This was stunning. This is pinwheeled marigold, and when it's not being eaten by gophers, it's absolutely spectacular. But yeah, who would have thought they'd eat a marigold? I can't imagine it tasting at all good. Well, anyway, verbenas, come on. Look at these. Now these ones here have been in for a year or two. Same variety as the ones I've had out in front of the sunflowers. But as you can see, with time, they get taller and taller. And this is our pollinator garden, so yes, it's a staple. And because it's a little foggy this morning, all the pollinators aren't out yet, but by this afternoon, it's going to be unbelievable. One weekend, I have to update you on this little garden too. It is looking so great. Things are already beginning to grow and respond and kind of blend together in the best way possible. I am really, really happy with how this turned out. Hey, before I finish up, I just want to tell you about this adorable little sunflower. It's called Lemon Cutie. You can guess why. Cuties can be lemon colored. It's one of those short ones. Develops quickly, gives you tons of flowers. Absolutely gorgeous. But hey, thank you so much for watching my video today. I hope you really enjoyed it. I hope it made you feel good that maybe your peppers aren't producing yet. It's the weather, nothing to do with you. But yeah, I hope you really enjoyed seeing what's going on a vegetable garden. And stay tuned because I'll keep you updated on that. The more harvesting, the more tomatoes, the more everything that we get from it, I'm definitely going to let you go. So thanks for watching. Hit that like button if you like it, share it, come visit. You can always find me on Facebook or Instagram, but the best thing of all is to come visit me here at Cottage Gardens. See you next time. Happy gardening.